Hello everyone, I know there's a lot of talk around Agentic AI, and as you know, we at Planview, we're passionate about building the digital future of connected work in the enterprise. So how are these two different worlds coming together, and how are we at Planview leveraging the power of data and the new data architectures, as well as Agentic AI, to reimagine how work gets done in the enterprise? We've got Dr. Sonnenblick here today. He's our chief data scientist, and we're going to have just a conversation about what's shaping up in the industry, what are the innovations that are happening here, and how it applies to the world of work. So Rich, let me start with what is Agentic AI, and how does it apply to the world of enterprise?
So we've all used a large language model to, say, summarize a document. Agents take the power of large language models one step further by giving them the ability to reason and then to act. So for example, let's create an agent or think about an agent that embodies a project manager persona. That project manager's job at the 35,000 foot level is to land your project with the objectives met on time and on budget. To do that, there's a set of jobs to be done that a project manager goes through. So the agent can embody each of these jobs to be done and autonomously, in the background, make sure that each of these jobs is being executed successfully. And when it isn't, notify you, the user, that there's something to be updated, there's something to be mitigated, a risk to be addressed. And that's what makes agents so powerful for our users.
Where are we at in the spectrum of these agents being more assistants to human personas versus agents that could potentially, automate a lot of the work in lieu of what a human persona may be doing?
So if you think about the Planview solution set, we have agents today that are generating insights about OKRs, that are generating insights about project and portfolio health. And we have agents that are underpinning Copilot. Planview Copilot as a conversational support coach, assistant, when you're sitting in any one of our strategic portfolio management or agile planning applications, to really answer the questions about documentation, to answer questions about your current business context, and to do it with respect to best practices. So these are all task-based, right?
Yep.
And I think where we're headed next is this autonomous future, where these same agents are going to be working in the background, working 24/7 to ensure that the jobs to be done that you would normally painstakingly go through one step at a time, hour to hour, day by day, are being done for you, and the results are being brought to you so that you are still in the loop with any actions that need to occur.
So it's almost like, based on my prompts that I'm engaging in the conversational interface, could be our Copilot, etc. Based on those prompts, it could trigger in the background agents that are leveraging a mix of optimization, machine learning oriented predictions, or simulation technologies in conjunction with the LLMs to provide a response that is very thoughtful, intelligent, but also extremely optimized or smart.
That's right. So an example might be, if you are working in corporate strategy and you want to understand the impact to your portfolio if there is a tariff war between countries where you sell and produce your products, you could simply ask the LLM to create a scenario where tariffs are running rampant and where there's high uncertainty around the actual pricing impacts. And it would think about this and maybe create 2 or 3 scenarios where prices are increasing in terms of what's coming up your supply chain and in terms of what you have to offer your customers in terms of pricing. And then it would run these through investment capacity planning within the Planview solution set, and then interpret the results for you.
Yeah, and it could be running, hundreds and thousands of scenarios in the background through a probabilistic model, and provide results in a very simple, language that any person could understand.
Absolutely.
Right. That's the power. Now, let's shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about What is required for us to leverage agentic AI from a data perspective?
That's such an important aspect of how we get good answers out of these agents. If you're like most of our customers, your system of record is not just one solution. You're using Planview solutions, but you might also be using other agile solutions, other strategic portfolio solutions to get your work done on a daily basis.
ERP systems, CRM systems, all kinds of DevOps tools. Yeah.
Just so, exactly. Yeah. And so it's important that when you ask questions of an agent, you need to have a broader 360-degree view with no blind spots. And so our data foundation enables you to not only pull information from your Planview solutions, but with 60 plus connectors, Flow Fabric gives you the opportunity to pull in all of the other critical work, resources, objectives, and related pieces of information. So that information is sitting within the data foundation in its original shapes, in its original forms. And we have a layer on top of that to apply governance so that if a user is asking a question, the question is answered in the context of the boards, the work breakdown structures that user has permission to see and no more. On top of that governance is a semantic layer. Now that semantic layer is ensuring that all of that information is coming together, and the idea of work is synonymous across all of those data sources. So a card in Agile Place is synonymous as a piece of work with a work item within portfolios.
So the semantic layer is really important, and it becomes a core part of the business logic of the organization. You're almost codifying how the enterprise functions from a work perspective. Can you give us an example of how this all kind of comes together in the kind of solution domain we're in?
So if you're thinking about that project manager persona, the agents can be providing a constantly running early warning system, helping you understand when work is idle for too long, or when work is showing significant schedule variance or cost variance. And it can be doing this across all of the systems of record represented in the data foundation. So you know that none of your work, none of your resources are being left behind in this analysis, and you can be sure that you understand that needle in a haystack of where you need to apply additional focus and expertise across all of your ongoing initiatives to make sure that everything lands appropriately.
And then I think the other aspect is all of this for our customers are interrelated elements in how work is getting done in the enterprise, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And that gives us a unique opportunity to show all of that work truly connected visually in our connected work graph. And so we have the opportunity to show that view of connected work, whether we're talking about work in Agile Place, work in portfolios, work across the two.
Or Azure DevOps or GitHub or it can be any number of sources.
That's right. And so again, we have that 360-degree view with no blind spots, and we can actually drill down into that connected work graph, get a sense of the dependencies, who's downstream of the work that I'm responsible for right now. And so if I have to deprioritize it, who's going to be impacted? I can send them messages, or an agent can see that change in my work and send them messages on my behalf.
Or for example, what are the dependencies across different, software value streams or project work streams, right? Doing all of that in large organizations with hundreds, sometimes thousands of different projects or product initiatives, it becomes a complex web. But with this data infrastructure, with this data foundation mixed with this intelligent agentic layer, that's where the magic happens in creating insights, creating intelligence, and then bringing those automations.
Absolutely.
Well, Rich, thank you so much for sharing these insights. Folks, look, the world is changing very rapidly. It's really exciting on the latest forms of AI, agentic AI, all the different data forms. And we're going to continue to be in that learning mode and innovation mode. So hope you enjoyed this discussion. Thank you so much for joining.